What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, back today with another live stream. Feeling good. Just left the gym. If you're feeling froggy, come on and jump. I'm ready. Boy, feeling strong, man. This may not mean nothing to you, but it means a lot to me. Hey, I was much bigger than I am now. I've dropped a lot of weight. Actually 20 plus pounds since January. Been doing very good. Busted out 23 push-ups the other night. I don't even remember last time I did 23 push-ups. So as you can see, I'm very excited about that. But man, we're going to talk about some sports today. Got my co-host with me, Mr. Reese. And first things first, Mr. Bulky has some motivation. He was sent a gift in the mail, and he's keeping it on his desk as motivation. And we're going to jump right into it, and we're going to talk about exactly what that motivation is. I'm going to pull it up. And look like we got a few comments here already. What up, Ness? What's going on?
Man.
Yeah, you say, what up, Uncle Jay?
What's happening?
What it is, my man. We're gonna talk a little Jags first. We ain't got much. There's not much news, except this Bulky and of course Mr. Rayshawn Jenkins restructured this deal, freeing up some space. But man, we're gonna talk about this right here. So here he is, Mr. Trent Bulky. See what he has to say right here. And this is from their series called The Hunt. It's on YouTube. They dropped episode 1, so I'm gonna definitely be checking that out.
Yeah, I mean, some fans sent that to me. It was a little clown figurine, and I said, you know what? I'm going to put it there to remind myself every day, why I come to work, what my purpose is. I guess is prove them wrong.
Hey, listen, I'm not mad at it at all. He say, hey, he wants to prove him wrong. I get it. I understand. I'm not mad at it. It's funny. Athletes, coaches, executives, owners, you name it, stars, regardless, famous people, no matter the industry, whatever it is, they always kind of try to make it seem like they don't listen to the noise and they don't have rabbit ears. But then you find out the opposite is true, and that a lot of them are very thin-skinned. And they can't take the criticism, and they do be listening. Just like Shad Khan, he was listening when the whole clown stuff was going on. He was trying to get it. He was trying to make sure people ain't come to the stadium with clown stuff on. Hey, same with Trent Bulky. They do listen to the noise, and so I just think it's a little, it's funny. Just use it as a little motivation. I mean, because if you being honest, Mr. Reed, he can thump his chest just a little bit. Just a teeny bit. Just a teeny bit, because it's not like he came to a 6-time Super Bowl champion. He came to the Jaguars, So I like it just a little bit.
Well, I had to deal with this guy, and I'm not. I will give a person their props when it's deserving, and you got to give him his props for the way this team played last year. And my opinion of this whole thing is, hey, you can gloat, and that's what he's doing. You can gloat. They went, the playoff team, got a great quarterback. Optimism reigns because they earned it. But I didn't see Trent Bulky take out that the clown before he hired Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
So, but man, sports is this, man. I agree with you 100%. They never claim that they listen, but they do listen, and they got feelings just like anybody else. They got families, they got pride, and they want to be respected and not chastised. They don't, they would like a season where they don't have to answer difficult questions, and they don't want to answer what went wrong, And I'll say this, Brandon, This guy has really been through the hornet's nest. You know, I mean, he took a job with the Jaguars. He really wasn't respected. Every day he looked around, he would always refer back to his time with the 49ers, and that was basically it was a disaster, you know, that he didn't get along with people in the organization. He didn't get along with Harbaugh. I mean, you know, he didn't get along with the head coach, you know.
Yeah.
And to come from that, you know, there was talk that nobody in the league would give this guy a job, and he was just fortunate that Dave Caldwell was the one guy, the one GM to give him a call, and then, you know, it worked out in his favor. Caldwell lost his job, and he came into it and that, but I'm still not a big Trent Baalke guy. I mean, I don't know. Hey, man, I'm gonna always express how I feel. I just, you know, even if they win a Super Bowl, I would never rever this guy as being an excellent executive, you know. But when you got a great quarterback to fall in your hands, you had a disaster on your hands with I don't even want to say his name anymore, but you know, you almost luck out. Yeah, you almost luck out, and you get a Doug Peterson. They work out a situation with their relationship because I think the fans got to realize that at a week or two after Doug Peterson was hired, this franchise didn't know if Baalke, Trent, and Doug could be, you know, like a good working pair together. They might have had to have somebody in charge above Trent. And I think the owner did a whole lot of soul searching, and then it just came out. You know, I mean, the football guys open up and they say, yeah, we can establish a good working relationship, and they did. So I think that clown sitting on his desk kind of represent that, hey, it's his punch back at the fan base a little bit. But one thing about that job, you can never sit on top of the perch, look down on the fan base and say, I told you so, because what goes around come around in the NFL. And I still feel that Trent Baalke, there is some things that he still needs to improve on. I like to see him draft a little better. I like to see, you know, I'm not all that totally satisfied how free agency went, but they got talent. They didn't have to have a makeover. But you also got to realize Tennessee didn't sit still this offseason. I still feel Tennessee is that team that maybe the Jaguars are going to have to knock them off next season and the season after that. And, you know, when you're a big boy who done really took over that division for years, and the Jaguars have had problems, you know, even in 2017, you always got to set your sight on who is the top dog or who was the top dog, and you got to make yourself better than them. And I thought they made some strong moves during the offseason. But I like the Jags, man. I would praise the Jags. I think they're the top team in the division. And I think that some karma going on with this GM.
Yeah. That could be the case. And, you know, and I would get the credit I would give Baalke is, you know, hopefully, and I would think that he learned from his time in San Francisco. No doubt about it. He learned from his time. So, you know, he's probably operating differently. He's trying to keep that relationship between him, Shad Khan, Doug Peterson, and Trevor Lawrence. You know, that tag of not being able to work. That's a bad tag to have. Not being able to work with people.
Yeah.
Like that follows you. It does. It follows you. And it's kind of something that you can never really shake, because people are always going to remember what you were, even if you made that change. So that is very tough, you know. So, you know, I do commend him on that.
And I agree with what Ernesto said. I'm not sold either. I mean, you know, one thing about this league, and the one thing about a lot of things in sports, and it could be sports, it could be a whole lot of things. Public face is always a little more over the top than what it actually is. I think sometimes when you see a lot of good vibes going on between two people, and then when you get behind closed doors, I don't think the vibe is never what you really actually see. And and I'll be honest with you, Doug Peterson had some reservations about the control and the mechanisms of selection of talent, putting the roster together. He had some concerns, and he said it publicly, and
so did Byron.
Yep. So once a guy has concerns in this league, it don't go away with one season.
Yeah, no, it don't.
What it leads to is having more say-so at the table, in which I think that he has. But I still say final say, unless it's something different. I'm not over there every day anymore, but unless it's something different, I think Trent Baalke still got most of the final say, with a lot of collaboration going on with Doug Peterson. So
yeah. So well, we'll see how it pans out. I wish them much success, of course. But we're gonna talk about Mr. Rayshawn Jenkins. And for those who don't know Rayshawn Jenkins is, I'm gonna play this little snippet right here. This encapsulates what Rayshawn Jenkins is, was, and will be for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The 40. 3rd and 4. Blitz coming. Prescott throws backwards and intercepted. Jenkins has another one. Racing down the sideline. Rayshawn Jenkins is going to win it.
That is Rayshawn Jenkins. He just restructured his deal and freed up, I think it was like $5.1 million in cap space. And now they have the 10th most cap space in the league. Before, they didn't have much, seemingly much at all. So now they have plenty to work with, and they're wondering if, are they gearing up for a big signing? I don't think they're gearing up for a big signing necessarily right now. I think they're restructuring these deals and they're getting ready to bring the rookies in. I don't think they've signed everybody they're going to sign to big money. It is a few names still out there. But I think the focus on them is for the draft and then in the future, because at the end of 2023, guess who's up for extension? Trevor Lawrence. So hey, you got to start now. And I mean, hey, today's price is not going to be tomorrow's price. Too many teams have found that out. Dak Prescott paid what he got paid because the Cowboys waited. Lamar Jackson is going to get a boatload because the Ravens waited. I mean, it just is what it is. So the longer they wait to extend Trevor Lawrence, the more money it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, let's hope they don't wait. Let's put it on. Well, who we talked about earlier. Let's put it on him to do his job, get a deal done. There's no other quarterback for this franchise than the one that's named Trevor. We don't need to see whatever. It ain't got nothing to do with next season, this upcoming season. So we know he's the quarterback here, and we want him here. So he ain't nothing about proving something. So I always like the fact that this guy done what he needed to do, and you know that you need him. He's a commodity that that this franchise cannot lose. I don't understand why you don't. I go back to the Jan and the Yannick and all this, man. I felt like, hey, you should have done that like after the 2018 season. Why wait? Don't wait, because I think that's been one of the problems with the franchise. If he's good to you, he's gonna be good to somebody else. And if you gotta spend the money, then you just have to take it. In order to make wins, you gotta spend money. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me get a couple of these comments. Harrison said he's a dog, but he ain't no Steeler. Yeah. Rayshawn is a dog. One of the biggest Pro Bowl snubs of the season last year, and in my opinion, dude played lights out from the beginning.
Oh yeah.
You see, Nesco say Balky and Peterson remind me of a couple in a picture with all smiles in front of the camera, while behind their backs, Balky has a knife poking Peterson, and Peterson has a gun poking Balky. Hey, Ness, that may be a accurate description of their relationship because it's all smiles in front of the camera as it should be. But man, there may be, I'm sure, some points of contention on a day-to-day basis about that roster and evaluating talent and who to pick and who to get. Yeah, absolutely. Which, speaking of the Jaguars, they did bring in was that Nolan Smith, pass rusher from Georgia, for a visit. And they brought in a pass rusher from Tennessee. Can't remember his name. So me and Jakari are going to do a kind of like little fun little draft show. We generate whether we just do the Jaguars or we go through the prospects or whatever. And we're going to talk about the prospects. And so Harrison, I'll let you know when. So Harrison, he can get in on that too. So we'll be doing that pretty soon. But as far as the Jaguars are concerned, I seen somebody on Twitter say this, and you may feel the same way, but I'm at a point where it really doesn't matter to me who they draft necessarily, because of what the work they've done so far. You're not looking for this guy to come in and be a superstar contributor from day one, no matter who you draft. I mean, because most likely you're not drafting somebody who's going to come in and start. If this person comes in and starts, he's taking somebody who's already established, their roster spot. So let's say you draft a DB, whether it's a corner or a safety, he starts day one, he's going to be pretty good because your four that you got out there now are pretty good. Linebacker, same thing. You got Aluakon, you got Muma, you got Devin Lloyd. So he comes in and starts, he's going to be pretty good. Same with the outside linebackers with Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker. Same with the interior D-line, Roy Robinson Harris, Fada Kasi, So especially you draft a defensive player, he comes in and start. Now, okay, you draft a lineman in the first round, he come in and start, O-lineman. Okay, I kind of understand that. But outside of O-line, there's not any place for a rookie to come in and start to be that guy right away unless he's like just that great. So for me, it's like, okay, they draft whoever, whether they draft a depth, but it's not something that's on my mind like it has been in years past.
Yeah, and I just think they need to address some positions. I mean, maybe look on your defensive front, maybe look at secondary cornerback specifically. I think that it definitely wouldn't hurt to draft a swing tackle, but I think it's just more, as far as when I'm looking at the draft, I think you make sure you address your needs. So you playoff or whatever you are in that division that they're in, the AFC, you got to have depth. A long season, 17-game season. And like you say, I agree with you. You're not looking for a guy to come in and start, but you also know that there are going to be some injuries and you want to have somebody to be ready after week 5 to be able to step in. And you want to have a quality young guy if he's tabbed to come in and provide some help, after mid-season if somebody get hurt or something like that. So you want to have somebody who can develop, not overnight, but develop by October that you can count on them if there's some injuries, But I agree with you. Yeah. I feel they're in a good spot. When you look at, 2 years in a row, this franchise had the number 1 overall pick, and there, with that in itself, it was a lot of exposure, a lot of attention on the draft, and I don't feel that this year. But I think you have to hit on what you need, what your greatest needs are, and get a quality player who, shows some signs that he might have to have a learning curve, but you can expect for him to be a contributor in some in some fashion this upcoming season.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna leave that Jaguar talk right there. We begin to Patriots talk with Mr. Mac Jones. Get a couple of these comments first, and let's go say right. They should have kept Calais then, so they wouldn't back. Yeah, and I got a question. Calais' commitment to win, because how close is Atlanta to win? I just need to know how close are they to winning. I don't think they're very close at all. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not a follower of their team, so I don't know. They don't have a quarterback, in my opinion, so I don't think they're close. But yeah, Atlanta is what he chose. So I was like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, it's about the money.
Well, that's what it was. That Jaguar offer, what I hear, was nowhere near what Atlanta offered. So, and I mean, what do you look at? Do you look at a guy come in Atlanta, be a great leader? Do you look at a guy? I mean, I don't even see Calais as a starter anymore. I see a guy getting,
Yeah, he's a rotational player.
Yeah. So, but he still want to get paid.
Yeah, he still want to get paid. So, yeah, Harrison say, Carter. Hey, Jalen Carter, he ain't talking to teams that 10. Though it's allegedly he's not talking to teams outside of the top 10. He's declined to meet with them because he knows he's going top 10 supposedly. So that's some Deion Sanders stuff right there. That's like the story Deion Sanders told about meeting with the New York Giants, and he said they hand him this playbook and asking him questions and going to quiz him on it and go through it. And he was like, "Oh, when y'all pick?" He said, "Oh, y'all picked 10th overall." He said, "All right, can you hear me?"
Yeah, I hear you now.
All right, there we go. Okay, yeah, but that's some Deion Sanders. So Deion told the Giants, "Y'all picking 10th overall, and I'll be going before y'all pick," and walked out. That's what that Jalen Carter stuff is. So, but hey, if he fall down the draft, I am not mad at pick. Nah. Yeah,
it's fading in and out.
Let me close. Yeah, it is fading in and out. Hold on, that's all. I'm gonna close that down. Come back and see. Okay, there we go. Okay, that looks a little better. He said, "I heard Carter was lackluster on his pro day and looked out of shape." Yeah, he was. Now that is true. That is true. And I would give Carter a little grace because of what he's going through. I mean, just think about the last couple of months, last 2 months or so, last 2.5 months, where his friend gets killed in an accident. Where they were supposedly drag racing.
Yeah.
The top 10. Top 10, but that might knock him out of the top 10. So, Jalen Carter in his pro day, I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock into it. I forgot what GM said, but go back to the tape. Go back and watch the tape and see what you see on the tape.
Mm-hmm.
And what I see tape with Jalen Carter is a dominant player. Dominant.
Yeah.
Like, I think he can wreck the league.
Yeah. But his body of work shows that. I mean, I done been through a whole lot since earlier this year. So, but he's been solid at Georgia. I don't think you're gonna get nothing different.
Yeah. I don't think you're gonna get anything different. All right, so I'm not gonna open up any other tabs right now because the internet is bugging out. Well, it's not the internet, it's StreamYard. Figure that out. StreamYard is bugging out. But
yeah,
I am still going to talk about Mr. Mac Jones. And so supposedly Mac Jones is on the trading block. He's been coming up in trade discussions this off season.
Mm-hmm.
They say Mac Jones' name in trade talks with multiple teams this offseason, according to Albert Breer of Monday Morning QB. He said, I think what happened was this good authority, Breer said, while those calls are being made during the combine before free agency, when teams are talking about names back and forth, Mac Jones' names came up a few times. Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk reported earlier this week that the Patriots are shopping Jones and mentioned 4 teams, Las Vegas, Houston, Tampa Bay, and Washington, as potential destinations. Mike Florio presented the 4 teams. I know of a couple teams, at least didn't hear from the Patriots on Mac Jones. Breer said during an appearance on NBC Sports Boston. I don't think Florio presented it that way either. He said those are teams that could potentially be involved. He didn't say those teams were the teams. He didn't say those were the teams that the Patriots were shopping him to. Multiple reporters pushed the notion back that they shopped Jones. Andrew Callahan of the Boston Herald said it was nonsense. He said a source that said that's news to me. Jeff Howe of The Athletic wrote that Bill Belichick did not call teams about Mac Jones. Let's see. He said Breer said that while he's heard Jones' name likely to come up in trade discussion, it's unlikely that the Patriots will get enough in return to actually trade him. I think part of the issue is that they wouldn't get great value for him. Trading Jones in the immediate aftermath of a disastrous sophomore season probably wouldn't be the optimum time to get a strong return for the 2021 first-round pick. So, now, he's on the trading block. What's the thing about this and why I decided to talk about it, supposedly why he's on the trading block outside of performance, because he had a subpar sophomore season. Supposedly, Mr. Mac Jones has been frustrated with the direction of the offense, so he's allegedly was seeking outside counsel from other football aficionados. Namely, he supposedly went back to Bama and has talked to Steve Sarkisian, the Texas head coach, as well, and talked to some of his coaches from Alabama about the direction of the offense and if they're doing it right or if it makes sense or something like that. And so Bill Belichick didn't take too kindly to that. And, you know, these things allegedly happen. And if this did happen, I can understand the frustration from a Bill Belichick. You see outside counsel about my work. You know, I can understand that. But, you know, them saying that, okay, he been shopped and whatever, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I would not be surprised if this is just Bill Belichick's way of basically getting Mac Jones in gear, lighting a fire up under him. He himself might have spread those rumors. I don't think he's above that. I really don't. Or it comes up and he lets it linger, because he could have easily came out and squashed all of this. But what did he say? He said that every position is up for competition.
Yeah.
That's not squashing this. It's not squashing the trade rumors. So he could have easily done that, and he didn't. And I think it's strategic.
Well, my take on this is that this might be the first time in how many years he's been there? 25 years, right? I think it's 25 years or whatever he's been in New England. This might be the only time during his stretch. And looking at what they have in that division, even just looking at the quarterbacks alone, that it might be time for Bill to change some things. I mean, I think some of the rumors that you injected, I think some of them are true. I think, you know, you're dealing with an athlete, and he's one of them, that they're not going to just accept. You know, he want to know why his numbers went down last season from when he was a rookie. And I think that Bill Belichick, I mean, here's a guy that doesn't get criticized, but come on, man, you got a second-year quarterback, and you got a structure of the coaching staff with co-offensive coordinators, with a kid that's still learning the game. I mean, what sense does that make last season? You didn't do what you're supposed to have done in the draft. You don't have enough weapons. And it's not about anymore of my way or the highway sort of. I mean, I think that philosophy, I mean, the guy's a great coach, but this generation of athletes are not just going to nod their head and say, okay, we buy in the system. And then they're looking at Buffalo. Yeah. They're looking at Miami. They're looking at all these teams adding weapons, offensive weapons. They look at how many points they're averaging per game. They're looking at Kansas City, and then they're looking at the Patriots, and they're looking at Bill Belichick, and they're looking at we're nowhere near them. You know, you can't rest on your laurels in this league, man. You got to get some horses, and I think one of the problems in New England, nobody want to go there. Nobody want to go there anymore. For whatever reason, you look at free agency. I don't hear them. I don't see speed on the outside coming to New England. I don't see 1,000-yard rushes, and I don't think they're not near I don't think they can match the talent of I don't think they can match the talent of the Jets at this point. They might be the 4th team in the division, and especially if they get Rodgers. I mean, you look at that quarterback, the quarterbacks that they got in that division, and you got a kid struggling. You know, he didn't develop in his second year, and I think the kid is frustrated.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a kid that just gonna, you know, he's what you would call a gym rat. He want to figure it out, and he's not getting the answers in New England. And then you got an old school coach like Bill Belichick that, hey, if you question what we doing in our program and go seek outside counsel, then you breaking the bond. I don't want to play like that here. So I think there's a lot of things going on, but I think sometimes he might have to change, man. If he's going to continue to be the coach in there, and, you know, you're looking at a New England franchise that, hey, it's been some lean years here the last couple of seasons, but, you know, you're looking at I mean, they like at the pedestal for success, and they're not seeing it, and the pressure is on.
It is. The pressure is on. You know, he's been around for a very long time, so I think he'll figure it out eventually. I don't think he's a dinosaur just yet who can adapt to the times because for so long. So I think he'll continue to be able to do it. I just personally think that Mac Jones isn't the guy. That's just me. I don't think
Brandon, they got to get talent, man. You look on these rosters.
They got to get talent.
I can't even name the guy that they got on their football team that can stretch the field and he can throw deep speed guys. And they got a great – I still feel they got a great defense, but I don't think they got enough offensive weapons to match up with the Kansas Cities and match up, this – it's going to be a tough fight to get in the playoffs when you either the 3rd or 4th team in your own division. Because that's where I feel they're at. They're not better than the Dolphins. They're not better than the Bills. And I don't know. It remains to be seen on the Jets. But if the Jets get Aaron Rodgers, I think the Jets are better than the Patriots. So it's about talent.
Yes.
You can be, hey, you can be the greatest coach in the world. If you ain't got talent, it's going to be hard to win. Not say you can't do it, but it'll be much tougher to win.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will. Shoot, dude. New England, they're looking at the Jaguars offense in envy, and that's crazy. You know, at one point there, that seemed far-fetched, but the truth is the truth. And they'll say you can't teach old new tricks, but you can shoot them. Time to put the old yellow down. No, that's not the hoodie. Not the hoodie. He's still good. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, well,
eventually.
He ain't figured it out last year. They ain't figured out too much the year before that either. So I hope he can. I don't know if he can figure out them Buffalo Bills though.
Man, that's Miami too. Miami got too much speed for him, man. Too much speed. So, man, but we are going to leave it right there. Yeah, and we're gonna stay in the NFL. We're gonna talk about the Arizona Cardinals. So ex-Cardinals VP Terry McDonough accuses the owner Michael Bidwell of cheating. And after Brian Flores kind of opened the floodgates for stuff like this. And I think you're going to see more and more as time goes on. Guys who were in these buildings and saw the things that they saw. And I wouldn't be surprised if extortion attempts are going on right now. You got former officials and executives calling these owners, say, hey, look, you seen what happened to the Dolphins owner. You see what happened to Stephen Ross. You see what's happened to Daniel Snyder. You see what's going on with Jerry Jones. You see what's going on with Michael Bidwell. I want my money. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, because these guys have very sensitive information, and they were in the inner working in the day-to-day of things, and they're no longer there. So now they could point the finger and say, hey, this is what it is. So it says Arizona Cardinals owner Michael Bidwell is accused of gross misconduct and cheating, discrimination, and harassment in an arbitration claim filed Tuesday by former Cardinals executive Terry McDonough to Commissioner Roger Goodell. McDonough maintained that both he and former Cardinals head coach Steve Wilkes were left with no choice but to follow Bidwell's plan to use burner phones to communicate with former Arizona general manager Steve Keim while Keim was serving a 5-week suspension after pleading guilty to a DUI in Arizona. Man, that's a big one right off the bat. They were using burner phones to communicate with somebody who they weren't supposed to be communicating with. Suspended Gene Keim. So man, that he could prove that one easily. Let's say McDonough said he still has the phone. He still has the phone with evidence of the cheating scandal as well as additional documents. Oh, he been waiting on this. With this in the last few months. He's been waiting on this for a long time and gathering this information. He said in a detailed response sent to ESPN, the Cardinals strongly denied the allegations, calling them outlandish. Of course. We are reluctantly obliged to provide a public response along with broad contact for some disappointing and irresponsible claims he has made in the arbitration filing are wildly false, reckless, and opportunistic ploy for financial gain. Extortion, like I said. He said, our position was consistent with many efforts we've made to accommodate Terry during this time with the team, despite difficulties in his personal life and his often volatile demeanor towards colleagues. Wow, they are going after him in this. I mean, I guess it's all fair because he did say they cheating. So they say that he's difficult to work with. He got a volatile demeanor towards his colleagues. They filed wildly false and somehow he's there for financial gain. So they mudslinging too. He said, that's why we are saddened to see that Terry is now lashing out at our organization with judgments and threats that are absurdly at odds with the facts. This unnecessary and vindictive action by Terry was intended to malign his co-workers, our owner Michael Bidwell, and our team with outlandish accusations. In the filing, McDonough said he and Will objected to and sought to avoid participation in the scheme hatched by Bidwell to utilize to communicate with manager Steve Keim in violation of the terms of the Cardinals training camp in the summer of 2018. In response to McDonough's objection to the illicit burner phone scheme, Bidwell cursed at, berated, and formally reprimanded McDonough and ultimately demoted him, irrevocably damaging the trajectory of McDonough's 34-year career in the National Football League. Bidwell also subjected McDonough to bullying, mocking, harassing, and abusive behavior. The filing said that the day after McDonough told Bidwell neither he nor Wilkes wanted to communicate with Keim during the suspension, Bidwell summoned him to his office and wrote him up for insubordination. McDonough also accused Bidwell of sabotaging Wilkes' first opportunity as an NFL head coach before he fired him at the end of his one season on the job. McDonough said Bidwell continued to demote and harass him since the summer of 2018. So there's a lot more there, but man, we're gonna leave it right there. That's a lot. That's a lot. And this leads me to believe that McDonough got a smoking gun. He does. Oh, yeah. He's got a smoking gun. And for them, this is the part that stuck out to me, Mr. Reed. This is the part. Let me see where it is. Claims he has made in an arbitration filing are wildly false, reckless, and an opportunistic ploy for financial gain. That sounds like extortion. Because where is he getting this money from for financial gain? From them.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. You know how I feel about the owners. I don't know, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll see how this continues. Let the saga continue.
Yeah, because this right here, it's going to be more. This isn't the. There are going to be more instances of this because it's so much out there. There's so many things that these guys can come back and say. Shoot, the Jaguars, they need to worry about David Caldwell. They need to worry about any of them executives because they were there. So the inner workings, every team, they have to worry about those things. If you were shady, if you were cutting corners, if you were cheating, if you were doing whatever, you better be worried because now these guys are emboldened to come out, tell their stories, especially those who are going to like write books and, financial gain or whatever, go on interviews and appear on things. So, yeah, I think this will be commonplace. And it's not just the NFL. It's not just the NFL. This is going to go across leagues. No doubt about it. Let's see. What Nesco said, what is going on with Cam Newton? Is he running out of money? He may be, because why is he? I mean, I understand you love football, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what he got going on. He said Cam might as well hit the XFL. He missing out on the bag. Now Cam wants to be an NFL quarterback, and I question whether Cam could be a backup, but he supposedly says he can be a backup. So we'll see. Indeed, if Cam will get a shot to be a backup. So yeah, we talked about it. I don't know if Cam is enough to be a starting quarterback in the league, and I don't think he has the mental capacity and the want to be a backup because he just wanted to be that guy.
Yeah.
So man, we're gonna leave it right there. Man, this internet is bugging me out, man. But it is what it is. We're gonna continue with the show. So man, we're gonna stay in the NFL. We're gonna talk just a little bit about Brett Favre, and he's trying to get a dismissal of the lawsuit that is against him. So it says attorneys for retired. Oh, yeah. My bad. Attorneys for retired NFL quarterback Brett Favre in a new court filing Monday that a lawsuit against him seeking to recover misspent welfare money in Mississippi's largest ever corruption case should be dismissed because the state Department of Human Services lacks evidence and is attempting to deflect from its own culpability. Millions of federal welfare dollars intended to help low-income Mississippi residents, some of the poorest people in the country, were instead squandered on projects supported by wealthy or well-connected people, including projects backed by Favre between 2016 and 2019, prosecutors say. In response to the department's statements that a judge should ignore Favre's request to be removed from the lawsuit, Favre's attorney wrote that there is no legal, factual, or moral basis for the agency's claim. It is plain that, as it did in its original complaint, which is itself carried out the allegedly wrongful transfer of funds to another state entity, a transfer approved by, among others, Mississippi's Attorney General, continues to sue Favre solely to attract publicity for improper political purposes. Last year, the Department of Human Services sued Favre and more than 36 other people or businesses. The suit says federal temporary assistance for needy families money was misspent, including $5 million that went to a volleyball arena Favre supported at his alma mater, the University of Southern Mississippi, where his daughter also played the sport, and $1.7 million towards the development of a concussion treatment drug by a company in which Favre was an investor. So, okay, we know about the inner workings of it and what is going on and what has happened, but him trying to get this thrown out, saying that there's no basis for it and it's plain, and which itself, he said there's no allegedly wrong transfers of funds, but these guys have already got this smoking gun. They already clapped back at Favre. They say, yeah, Favre, you wrong. We have the evidence. Why are you continuing to do this? And now he's suing, Pat McAfee, Shannon Sharp, and I think it's one other pundit that he's suing. I mean, he's going scorched earth now, and now he's trying to get the lawsuit thrown out. Before, just pay the money, man. We done talked about this, man. Just pay the money. Come on, man. Just pay the money.
Yeah, and I looked at that Mississippi case. Look like he's doing everything to try to come save face, and he want to sue people who's telling the truth. I mean, that kind of tells you what his innocence or guilt is right there, that he want to sue people who talking about, his dealings and whatever the situation that looks like he's about as guilty can be, in my opinion, even though, you have to prove it. It looks like it's been proven, but I don't know, man. Sometimes I just feel that athletes, all the glory, I don't know what it is. Maybe win a Super Bowl, been praised all your life, overcome obstacles, overcome hurdles, and you feel you're above the law. That some, not all, some, or when the evidence is just insurmountable, and you still plead that you've been wronged, or somebody's stating the facts on a podcast, and you're going to sue people for basically, doing one of their rights that they can do, which is free speech. So pretty much in a nutshell, man, this guy, the way that evidence looked like he did something wrong. And, when you do wrong, you got to pay the piper. And usually the truth comes out. So we'll see where this goes. And maybe, like you said, pay the money back. You don't want a story about you. You don't want the negative publicity. Then do what you need to do to so a lot of times the publicity will stop if you just admit the guilt or pay back what you stole or, or whatever it is. But it takes a lot for a favorite son, man, to admit guilt. He's a favorite son in Mississippi. And star quarterback and all that. And he's just going to take it as much as he can take it and fight it as much as he can fight it. And we'll see where that take him.
We'll see where that takes them. We'll say professional sports and soap operas don't mix, Arizona. No, it don't. Let's see. He said Alden Smith arrested. No, he got sentenced today, Ness. He got sentenced to, well, not today, but he got sentenced to, it might have been today, a year for DUI. And, man, you talk about wasted talent. Man, Alden Smith was one of the most athletic, like, defensive end / linebackers I'd ever seen. To be that big, be that tall, to be that talent, man. Should have been an all-timer and a flop like he was. I mean, when he was good, he was good. Up rather quickly.
Yeah.
What Favre is trying to do is quiet the noise. The guilty pig is squealing loudly. Here, piggy, piggy. Yeah, he's trying to quiet the noise. Yeah, he's trying to quiet the noise. And Harrison, hold on, he say privy. He talking about never mind. I'm not going to Facebook jail no more. Oh, what you was about to say? Privilege, Harrison. I think he was probably about to say privilege, but man, that's enough talk about Mr. Brett Favre. We're gonna leave it right there. And now we're gonna talk about. Hold on. I got you. All right. I got you. Yeah, you say definitely well. Yeah, I know what you were going to say, Harrison. I know. You don't want to go to Facebook jail. So, man, we're going to go to women's college basketball. And then we got one more topic that we're going to get on up out of here. We're going to talk about LSU versus Iowa championship game, which the ladies' championship game was way more interesting than the men's. I mean, it is what it is. I will admit that for sure. Because they had a bit more drama to theirs, but it was a good game. But Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, as you can see in the background there, that's Angel Reese hitting Caitlin Clark with the Tony Yayo, "You Can't See Me." People were saying, John, he was like, "Oh, she doing the John Cena. She doing the John Cena." But it is the Tony Yayo. So, give Tony Yayo his flowers. But she hit him with the "Can't See Me" and showing the ring finger. Yo, you can't see me. And man, the vitriol that was pointed in her direction after this game, I'm gonna be honest, it didn't surprise me at all. I wasn't surprised, not at all, because we've talked about this too much, right? I mean, we talked about this on way too many occasions. So this is just another day at the office when it comes to topics like this. I mean, one thing I don't want to do is call somebody a racist, because that's very easy to label somebody as that, or prejudice, or any of those things like that, or being discriminating or anything like that. But damn it, when it's this obvious, I mean, you have to call it out, because Caitlin Clark did the exact same thing Angel Reese did in the previous games. The exact same pattern. Pretty, those little, scribe white athletes, man. Coach on the court, coach on the field, gym rat, all that stuff they use to describe them. They said about her. All right, there we go. But as soon as she hit her with the ring finger and did this, oh my God. David Portnoy, Barstool Sports, called her effing idiot. No, my bad. That was Keith Olbermann. Olbermann called her effing idiot. Portnoy called her, he said she was classless something. I can't remember exactly what he said. And there was many pundits who had a lot to say. There we go. Most of them backtracked on the things they said about Angel Reese, and by that time it's too late. It's already out there. We see what the deal is. It's okay if this one do it, but it's not okay if this one does it. It was the exact same thing, but we know why this is, what it was about, and why people reacted the way they did. I mean, just we're gonna call it what it is. If Angel Reese was a white player, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. And then even Caitlin Clark herself had to come out and defend Angel Reese and saying, yo, she shouldn't have to apologize for anything. We're competitors and we were competing. Yeah. And she shouldn't have had to say that. And it's a shame that that's the time we're in now.
Well, that's the problem, the time that we're in now. Because sometimes I feel, I don't want to preach too long, but sometimes I feel we're going too far backwards, like 1963, and when we're in 2023. And this is classic, I mean, it ain't no sugarcoating. I mean, it's like, okay, the white athlete got, if you want to paraphrase it, so they have the degrees that they can do. I even watched some knucklehead tweet where it's not anything. It's like comparing this to apple and oranges. So what Caitlin did doesn't even fall in the same category range. It's not even on the same star planet, Hers was doing a timeout, and then they say that Angel followed her around, but still it's the same thing, and then you get the labels. Oh yeah. What they call Angel Reese, everything in the book, but call Caitlin, she's like, the competitive nature.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then Angel does it, and she's classless. And this ain't just, let me state this, man. This ain't just been going on because of that women's game that happened on Sunday, okay? I mean, the one thing that I think that just as bad as racism is labelism, is what I call it. And we get people that look like me and you, we get labeled much quicker than if somebody else that doesn't look like me and you, if they do the same thing, it goes up a less level than what we do, but while ours escalate all the way up to up at the top. And we are going backwards. There's no question in my mind. If you don't think so, go back and watch CNN the last 2 nights and see what's happening in Tennessee when they're expelling people, 2 legislatures that happen to be black, and they kicking them out from their job when they've been elected as representatives of their district by a single vote. And then one white lady, it was a white lady with them, and she gets to keep her job even though it was narrow vote, but she kept her job by 1 vote. And hey, whether we like it or not, this is what's going on. And this basketball game Sunday is just almost like a microcosm of the whole situation going on. Race is a problem. And if they continue that we be in a position that we don't want to talk about it, you want to go to the polls and you want to vote. And this is what's happening. The cities are diverse and the rural areas are not. But they're more rural small towns than they are big cities. And they get more power. And that's a reflection of this country. And this basketball game is a reflection of all of that. All you got to do is look at Dawn Staley and just listen to what she said after that game that they lost. And she every word I agree with. You're going to call her team thugs because they play physical, or they, even though the reporter was speaking through what somebody said about them, but it gets reported the way that they don't play the game right, or they got players that just, they don't play the game right, and they get labeled of just being a physical team that get overshadowed that they might be a talented team, which they were and which they are. You win 35 straight games and don't win a national championship, you're not going to tell me that's not a talented team. But, it's all about what she has on a team. and then you get these labels.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think labels is just as bad as somebody calling you out your name. I think labels stick even longer. And I think that's the whole thing about this Caitlin Clark and this Angel Reese. It's the whole thing. Even the vice president, I say this about, the first lady. You don't you don't go inviting both teams to the White House, okay? We don't change tradition because we celebrate it. There's nothing wrong celebrating both teams played hard, both teams played a great game, but you don't take the team that lost and bring them to the White House because of their effort. That's like getting a participation trophy while the other team wins the championship, but they both going to be celebrated the same. That's not the way sports goes, okay? It don't go like that. That's not the way it works. You got a winner and you got a loser.
Yeah.
And the winner gets the glory, and the loser hopefully use that as motivation so they can come back and win next year. And I know we are a sports podcast, but I am very concerned about where this country is heading at. I know we got this election coming up. You got a former president getting charged and all this stuff. But I think I'm a man of history, and you look at how things are going. Even you go back to that basketball game, everything is being where it's comparable to a race. It's a race issue. Everything. we talking black and white. How what's the perception?
Yeah.
And it hates. And let me finish up on this. This young lady is 20 years old, and what is his name? Keith Oberlin.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's what
Keith
you do
Oberlin,
on your Twitter. You don't do that. She's 20 years old, and I like the fact that she speaks from her heart. She's not worried about what somebody say.
Yeah.
she's speaking on her actions because
Yeah.
her actions if she was perfect and if she was speaking like what people want her to speak, you know what it means, Brandon? She's still gonna get criticized.
Still.
She's still gonna get criticized even if she was perfect. So why not be herself? She's from Baltimore. She's from the inner city. That's how she plays. That's what she knows. She got a style about herself. And I'm glad she got a head coach that don't try to put it in a bottle.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So this is the pivot. So I'm gonna do fair use. Look at this snippet, and supposedly Fred Taylor called out Keith Olbermann in this, and get a snippet of Angel Reese.
I went to one stream of prison where it's only 200 feet for school women. So being able to have nothing really to me. I now just have the point where I can actually speak out and have so me up about things. I never felt to be valued, but now I'm just in a spotlight where I can. People say I really don't care what people say. Doing it for a cause, and I know it's positive.
I just want to put on record, and I know RC to Keith Olbermann is a fucking idiot. Look how articulate she is. See how laid back, chill, the example she's trying to set. That's what you should try and do. Be more of an adult and leave these beautiful young ladies alone. And I can be quiet the rest of the interview. I just really wanted to say that because I don't take that lightly. And what you guys are doing are setting great examples for all of the, like you said, the young girls that look like you. But even anyone that aspired to do what you guys are doing. So I applaud you for this. And this is his show. He's the tiger. I know he was ready and excited for this. I know you guys were trying to up for a while. But I really want to get that off my chest. And I guess when we cycle back around, I'll have some real shit for y'all. And the reason I got
hey, I'm loving that Duval till we die hat that Fred had on. I got to get me one of them.
And I want to say one thing, man. When I done watched that pivot about a couple of times, and I would love to see this guy be more of a media person in this city. I mean, he's got a lot to offer, and I just don't think we as a town celebrate Fred for what he is. I mean, he's got a great personality. He says what he feels, and I don't think he's revered in this town like he should be. I mean, I know he's not in a hall and all that crap, but I think this guy should be put more on the pedestal in Jacksonville because that's where it happened at. And I think he's bigger nationally than he is in Duval. I mean, that's just weird to me.
Seems that way. It does. It does seem that way. It does seem that way. But man, and this young lady here, I know she's going to the WNBA. And so right now, the WNBA has a gold mine, I think, in these two alone right here. What I mean, and of course, it's not on their same level, of course, but I think that they can be their version. Somebody brought up how the rivalry between Magic and Bird helped the NBA to get to where it is now. And then Jordan took over, and then we know the rest is history. But these two right here, I can see them battling in the WNBA and people tuning in to see it because of this game.
Yeah.
So WNBA, you better get the marketing team and whatever y'all was previously doing, ball it up and throw it in the trash like old homework. Get a new plan and market these two when they come into your league.
Well, they got another year to put a plan together. They both coming back and playing.
Oh, so they are coming back.
Yeah, they both coming back. And you're right. You gotta take advantage of these stars, man. I mean, from what I heard, that basketball game Sunday night was the most watched women's basketball game in the history. 9.9 million viewers. I think that's what it was. So you have the ticket right there. You got to continue to build on it. And make that a rivalry. You know, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing LSU and Iowa play again.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's say you don't invite both teams, Jill. This was a basketball game, not crochet class.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Yeah, you go invite
Yeah.
both teams to the White House. I mean,
He said, "See, this pisses me off because this young lady should never have to come on a show and prove how articulate she is." I agree with Fred about Overman. I agree, Uncle Jay. Fred is the greatest Jag player, period. It should be celebrated more in Duval, but we both know why he's not, and Baselli is.
that's why town got to change, man. We got to stop seeing people for the skin color and see people for what their impact is. And to get, I mean, I feel the city of Jacksonville and beyond, beyond Duval, should put the same effort as they did with Baselli getting in at a hall. They should put the same energy and effort to get Fred Taylor in that Hall of Fame.
Jimmy.
And Jimmy. They were hell of a players. And whatever success that was on those Jaguar teams during that time period, they wouldn't have got done just with Baselli either. I want to say that.
Yeah.
All you got to do, put the video on for the Miami game when they won that 62-7 game and watch those runs that Fred Taylor. Hey, if you ain't convinced, watch that game.
Right.
But we need to be a city that can celebrate. And I'm not just talking about just on the field. I mean, I'm talking about a guy like Fred should be in the schools, should be on the board, should be presented when they have different type of activities going on around the town where he speaks. And I mean, you know, even give the man a key to the city if that need be. But I think he has to be more celebrated in Jacksonville. He's a star, and he's got a, you know, I mean, I can see his personality on that show right there. So,
yeah,
celebrate him. You know,
yeah,
the guy
absolutely.
loves Jacksonville. He's still in Jacksonville. He ain't moved somewhere else. And I used to see Fred Taylor walk up and down the press box before the game, and it's like nobody recognized, you know, nobody stopped him, or nobody gave him a handshake. No, you know, I know sports writers don't ask for autographs, but it just seemed like he was walking back and forth in the press box like he's just a regular guy. And I'm like, I'm still shocked at that. So I think the guy should be celebrated more in this city.
Yeah, I think so too. But man, we're gonna leave it right there, and we're gonna finish up with the NBA, and we're gonna get on up out of here. And man, Isaiah Thomas is basically stirring up that beef with Michael Jordan all over again. It's like, golly, man, can you just let it go? Can you drop it? But hey, you could tell that to this day, that still bothers Isaiah Thomas. Man, it's like, dude, it's like it's around, it's holding him down. It's like a manhole cover around his neck. He can't move. Like it's a cloud over his head, man. It's like, dude, how long ago was that? You said they both in their 60s. He told me, like, come on, man, let it go. But you know, all of this stems from is Michael Jordan keeping him off the USA, the national team, the dream team, keeping him off the dream team, and then calling him an a-hole. And and he won't let it go. He's like, he want a public apology. But I mean, dude, Isaiah, that ship is sailed. I'm just saying that I think that ship is sailed. But you know, and I'm gonna let you finish up on the mystery.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm just adding what you're saying. I mean, I mean, come on, man. When you get 60 years old and you done raised your kids and you still working, which nothing wrong with working, but you can go to the beach, you can go across the world, you can go everything to advance yourself. And here we always come back and Isaiah didn't shake the hands of the Bulls players. Isaiah was left off the off the Olympic team, the 92 team, the dream team. And I see a man, you know, when I watch interviews, I watch his reaction more than I listen to the words. And I can still see him in his eyes and his reaction to Jordan, where he like his reaction to what happened the other day is just like his vengeance. You know, you don't want to live your life when you 60, whatever he is, and you can't let it go from something that happened like almost 30 years ago. If it's that bad, then maybe he needs to make the phone call to Jordan, or somebody need to be two peacemakers, put them in a room, hash it out, but don't take it to your deathbed is the message, you know, especially for two great basketball players who happen to look like me and you. I mean, I just think that's just, you just wasting whatever. To me, there may not never be friendship between those two guys. But when you when you have a podcast and they're talking about, and his reaction was because of something that Isaiah said initially. And we all know what happened. I mean, Michael Jordan took his town. I mean, yeah, it happens. He won 6 championships in Chicago. Isaiah played in Detroit. And if you're going to get mad about somebody taking over your city, I never thought that Chicago, I didn't think he owned the city. I mean, Isaiah never owned Chicago, okay? So you win championships. Let's praise the 3 that Isaiah won. I mean, 2, whatever he won, and praise the 6 that Jordan won.
Yeah. And
let's stop talking about stuff that happened 30 years ago. And I just think that, and I even say this for Michael, even, he said some comments about Isaiah, but you guys, when you look at Michael Jordan, one of the greatest players in the game, Isaiah is not on the same level as Michael, okay? And if he's jealous about that, then he might need to get on his knees and pray, because if it's that little, then so be it, man. You look at Bird, you look at Magic, they were rivals, and you see how it turned into where it's at right now, what it was, Hey, sports is sports. It's not something that you carry 50 years from now that you had a rivalry and then both of you can't be in the same room. I mean, it's a game. That's what it should be, a game.
Yeah.
You win some, you lose some. You have emotions. It's a game. So it's it. Which one is this? Which one is this?
Oh, this is from when he was on All the Smoke. This from All the Smoke. So fair use.
If you could see one guest on our show, OG, who would it be?
Michael Jordan. Put him in the seat.
Okay,
tell him to come sit here and answer the question.
Whoever the person is, you gotta help us get him on the show. No. That's the question.
So here's real talk, right? We in this brotherhood
shouldn't have to go through all them loopholes.
Our job and our responsibility is to come here and help you.
Uplift. Preach, teach.
That is our responsibility. That classified as Black in the United States of America.
Deep. Yeah.
How to come and help each other. Now, that being said, he needs to sit here.
Now I agree with him that about the brotherhood, and I think this, that go to help them out, but him with this Jordan stuff, man. Oh my goodness. And Nesco made it. Nesco said it. I forgot about this. It wasn't just Jordan who wanted to keep him off the team. This is known.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he said Magic had the final say, and that was per Magic Johnson. You know, this wasn't just a Michael Jordan thing. Yeah, hey,
well, we also forget that Chuck Daly, who was his coach with the Pistons, was the head coach of that Dream Team. So, come on, man. So, and I agree with what he said. You know, when you're talking about the brotherhood, yeah, you help other brothers. I agree with that. But you also got to understand, I don't see him. He ain't. Who's seen him on a podcast? Who's seen him on a podcast?
Yeah.
Who's seen him on NFL TV? He don't do those things. That's just him. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's just him. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. Hopefully, man, he's too old for this. Let it go. Jordan isn't speaking on you. He isn't saying anything. He's let it go. Shoot, Jordan could have been blasting Charles Barkley all these years, but he ain't said nothing. He just stopped talking to him. So, man, just let it go. It's over with. It's finished. It's done. Finito, man, please let it go.
Yeah, let it go.
Oh, man. Yeah, man. But we wrapping it up here. Oh, and I forgot to mention, we didn't get a chance to talk about it. I may save it, get some more information on it. But Jim Trotter, who's formerly of the NFL media, who he didn't get his contract renewed after he asked Goodell questions about diversity. Supposedly, in his severance package, there was an NDA that he supposedly refused to sign. This is allegedly, I don't know if this is true or not, but I did see the report about it. So we will talk about that next time we go live. But man, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social medias. Follow Mr. Reed on Twitter. And we will be back with more live streams. Until next time, man. We'll talk to you guys later.
Peace out.
Peace out.